Alright, welcome. In this lecture, we're going to learn how to factor trinomials. We're going to see the specific type ax squared plus bx plus c. And even more importantly, a is the leading coefficient. In our problems, we're going to make life a little bit easy, and we're going to have a equal 1. When a equals 1, we get to follow these two very, very nice steps. The first step is to find factors of c, which c is here, and determine the sign of b. So whatever's in front of b, that's our sign. We're going to give the sign to the larger factors, and these factors that we're talking about are factors of c. Once we've done that, we're going to find the factors of c whose sum is b, and we'll write x plus one factor times x plus the other factor. I would pause the video and write these steps down. I'm going to reference to them verbally constantly, because I'm lazy, I'm sorry. I'm not going to rewrite them again, but I will kind of loosely write it, but when I write in the tablet, it's messy. So our first problem is going to be asking us to factor, and we're going to give ourselves a really, really nice polynomial. So this is the first one. We'll have x squared plus 3x plus 2. Now, what I do is I like to write the general form of the polynomials that we're working with, the trinomial specifically, where we have ax squared plus bx plus c. And I like to write it directly underneath so that my eyes can visualize, okay, the leading coefficient's a 1, so I get to use the method we stated earlier. My b is 3, and my c is 2. So, step 1 says, find factors of c. Now c is positive 2, so we just need factors of positive 2. That was nice to us. 2 only has two factors, 1 and 2. Now we're going to look at the sign of b. b is positive, so the bigger factor gets that sign. And now we got a little bit of legwork where we think of what times a positive gets us a positive, and then the other one has to be positive. And now we find the sum of the factors who add up to the b term. And sure enough, 1 and positive 2 add up to 3. So we'll have x plus one factor times by x plus the other factor. And that's it. We've factored the trinomial. Now, that of course seems ridiculously nice. So let's see another one, a little bit more challenging, hopefully. So our next one, we are going to have x squared, I'm sorry, I lost my place, plus 6x, there we go, found it, minus 27. Okay, so this one's a little bit more challenging, but not that bad. First thing I'm going to do, until I get in the habit of visualizing my a, b's, and c's, is right underneath it my general form for a trinomial. My a is 1, so that allows me to use the methods that we just spoke about, and that's the only type we're going to see in this video. My b, which looks horribly close to a 6, is right here, is positive 6. And c is negative 27. So we switched it up a little bit. So c is negative 27. We need to find factors of 27. Of course, negative 27 is really what we're working with. I'm going to pretend it's positive. So I got 1 and 27, 3 and 9. A little bit more to work with this time, but still relatively nice. Now b still determines the sign, and the sign of b is positive, so the bigger factor gets that sign. And we need a positive times something to get us a negative. That means the other sign will now have to be negative. And we have to figure out which one of these factors add up to the b term. And negative 3 and positive 9, sure enough, add up to the b. So we'll have x plus one factor, in this case x minus 3 is the same thing as x plus 3, times by x plus 9. And we're done. Now, the most common question, and by far the most frustrating for a professor, is if a student asks us if we can write this as well. This is the same statement as what I wrote above. They are both equal. Why? Because of commutative law. Commutative law says A times B is the same thing as B times A. So remember, because we're factoring and writing something as a product, it does not matter what order we multiply in. And if you can keep that in the back of your mind, you're halfway through the battle. So that was how we factor with the coefficient being 1. And in our next video, we'll learn when it's not 1.